Okay, hi everybody. Okay, I had to talk to you about this. I was out with my son tonight, my son David Chaim, when a married couple came over and asked me my name. I said my name, and they said, "Oh my gosh!" And the wife said, "I just took out your book, Kosher Lust, from a library." And wow, God, what was more surprising to me that someone took out Kosher Lust from a library, or that library still exists and people use them? That's pretty cool. Libraries are wonderful, but I was very surprised. Because no one, I know some people kind of take my books out from libraries, but most people, either buy books or they read them digitally. It's cool that my books are in libraries. I'm very happy to hear that. But she had a complaint. And this is why I wanted to talk to you tonight, because I wanted to talk to you about her complaint. Let me first begin by saying, with all of us focused on the inauguration and some of the things I've been speaking about, President Biden and former President Trump over the past few days, and the two camps in America, half the people saying, excoriating me for wishing the new president all the best, which is crazy. How could you excoriate me for wanting America to do well? I don't get it. I told you yesterday, I'm not going to change. And half the people excoriating me for the opposite. People don't know. Is he a Republican? Is he a Democrat? What is he, a liberal? Is he a conservative? He loves Trump on Israel, but he wants Biden to succeed. I transcend labels. What can I tell you? But I'm not into hatred. But there's another point here, which is that as much as you want to focus on the macrocosm always, politics and Biden and Trump and the state of the nation and policy, you have to also focus on the microcosm. Don't forget. Remember, as you saw yesterday, presidents, no matter how special, including even Abraham Lincoln, they come and they go. They do amazing things, or they do not amazing things, but they come and they go, and the country continues. But the people who don't come and go, or should not come and go in your life? Your family. They're what should be permanent, and we don't work on our marriages enough. So I was actually very impressed that this woman read Kosher Lust. A married woman took it out and wanted to discuss it with her husband, but she had a complaint. She said that your book Kosher Lust, she said she found it to be, she complimented me, I was very grateful, but she said she found it to be too theoretical. It was too much theory. There wasn't more practical stuff. I said, listen, you're kind of right, because what my book Kosher Lust really is, first and foremost, an interpretation of Song of Solomon from the Bible, which is the most beautiful erotic love poem ever to exist in ancient literature, coming all the way up to modern times, the most influential love poem of all time, the Song of Solomon. And what I do, first and foremost, I analyze the story to determine what are the principles of attraction. Before we talk about, practically speaking, how you can have an erotic marriage, a romantic marriage, a loving marriage, first and foremost, we have to identify what are the elements, the ingredients of attraction. Most people fail at monogamy. Most people fail at marriage. There's three things that happen to people in long-term relationships. One is long-term monogamy there's three things that happen. One is it works. And by it works, I mean, for most people, marriage working means that they cease being lovers, but they become best friends, they're partners, and they love doing practical things together, raising the kids and going on long walks, and they vote for the same political party, but their sex life died a long time ago, and they're no longer lovers, they're best friends, and they still consider their marriage a success because at least they're happy and they hold hands, and they're having sex once a week for 7 minutes at a time, which is a national average, but at least they're feeling that we're connected and we have great conversations, we have good communication, we have trust, we have shared values. But what happened to being lovers? Where's the spark? And they still consider their marriage a success. The ones that aren't successful either end in divorce, God forbid, that's really sad. Or the third one is they stay together, but they live totally separate lives. They have affairs, or one becomes a porn addict. I'm not speaking from theory, I'm talking about real life predicaments, couples that I counsel almost every day, or people who write to me almost every single day. The rarity of a marriage that lasts 10, 20 years, where people are still being sexual and vibrant and incredibly attracted to each other, and they're ripping each other's clothes off. I mean, that sounds almost like the stuff of fantasy. So the first thing I had to do in Kosher Lust was first and foremost analyze what are the principles of attraction. What makes a marriage succeed? What draws a man to a woman? I don't mean at first. I don't mean love at first sight. I mean what keeps his eyes focused on her and not having a roving eye. Men have roving eyes. My friend Dennis Prager says that men's heads are like radar towers. They're focusing on every pair of legs that passes by. How does a man focus on his wife? And how does a woman feel? And she deserves to feel that she's the object of his focus, and she's the object of his lust, his kosher lust. She's the object of his desire. So the first thing I had to do in the book, for all the people who are complaining that kosher lust is too theoretical, first thing I had to do is identify there are three principles of attraction. There are three ingredients you need in every relationship. which relies on desire, lust, and attraction, and that is mystery, unavailability, and sinfulness. Mystery, unavailability, and sinfulness. Those are the three principles of attraction, and I extracted that from the Song of Solomon. That's what creates and sustains kosher lust. Mystery, which we don't have enough of today because everything is so revealed. Our bodies are too revealed. Our emotions are too revealed. Heck, our lives are too revealed. Even right now, I'm talking to you at 11 o'clock at night. I'm too revealed. We're all putting stuff all over social media. Too revelatory, not enough mystery, not a good thing. So mystery, and then you need unavailability. The woman, the man that's slightly unavailable, slightly mysterious, they're much more attractive. And finally, sinfulness. It's interesting that we have to have the sinful marriage. And I explained that in the Bible, all these things, the Bible gives us these three things in our marriage. The fact that couples have 12 days of sexual unavailability, the fact that Judaism and the Bible insists on modesty, creating an air of mystery, not just in how we dress modestly, but how we comport ourselves modestly. You're not supposed to be a braggart. You're supposed to kind of conceal some things, keep them guessing. The pregnant pause, the tease that a newscaster will use when we come back. The big story about it, and he doesn't tell you what the big story is because he's teasing you. He wants to make sure that if he gives too much, you're not going to come back after the break. And then sinfulness. Judaism and the Bible can create these sinful marriages, these sinful relationships, where a husband and wife are forbidden to each other for 12 days out of every month. That's a fascinating concept. In my follow-up book, Lust for Love, which I co-authored with Pamela Anderson, it is much more practical because I took all the theory of kosher lust, and with Pamela Anderson as co-author, we kind of applied how these theories work in everyday life. And obviously, given that when you talk about a world-renowned sex symbol discussing these things, and together with an author, it became really interesting. But Pamela is much more than an author. She's, by the way, that was supposed to be a joke. I've used that joke many times, and sometimes it hits, sometimes it lands. The joke being, when you talk about a great sex symbol and an author, and I'm saying that she's the author, and okay, you get the joke. Ha ha ha. Okay, sometimes people have actually laughed. At Oxford University, where she and I spoke, it actually worked in front of like 500 students. Be that as it may. There were many ways to translate the three principles of attraction that create kosher lust of mystery, unavailability, and sinfulness into a practical form of living together with practical things. I'll give you an example. I don't think husbands and wives should walk around the bedroom completely naked in front of each other. I think the body loses its magnetism when we don't have modesty, even in an intimate setting, like a marriage. I think that sex on tap or sex being used as some kind of sedative to fall asleep is often a mistake, because now we're using sex not because we really desire our spouse, but because we want to just blow off sexual steam. Eyes open sex, wondering what someone is thinking when they're not verbally articulating their thoughts, and you have to kind of guess. There's a mysteriousness to that. Or the sinful part of marriage, where I so often advocate wives to engage in what I call the erotic conversation, where wives actually disclose to their husbands some of the fantasies they have about strangers, or men who find them attractive, who women know find them attractive, because women always know when men find them attractive, etc., etc. There's many ways to articulate these three principles into everyday marriages and relationships. You can read the books, or you can watch many of my speeches, often given in front of hundreds of people, married couples, where they challenge me on very practical aspects of the books. But the main thing is that you should actually care to make your marriage exciting. The main thing is that you should actually not only find Trump exciting or Biden exciting or fighting on Fox News or CNN exciting, but you should actually find your marriage exciting. You shouldn't just find the new Netflix series, Bridgerton, I don't know, one of these new British series, which is always about women trying to marry like the Duke or the nobleman, and like always portraying women as greedy, grubby. I'm always amazed that all of these romantic series so often either they degrade women. They really portray them as being so they want titles and they want money, and that's considered romance. I don't get it. Okay, be that as it may, I wrote something about that. Read it. But you're not just supposed to be excited about the latest series on Netflix or with new movies that are coming out, and you're actually supposed to be excited about your marriage, excited about each other. You're supposed to have kosher lust for your spouse. So I say all this because I actually appreciate when people stop me sometimes. Sometimes people stop me and say hateful things. I don't appreciate that at all. But when people stop me, even when they challenge me, this woman was complaining about my book. It gets me thinking about what I write. It gets me thinking about what I broadcast. It gets me thinking about what I share with all of you. So I try to go deeper and take you along with me on the journey, or I learn from you to be much deeper. You guys help me see things more deeply, and I'm grateful. The main thing is, Put your marriages and your relationships first. Tomorrow, before Shabbat, God willing, I hope to talk about the Torah reading of the week, which this week is Parshas Bo. We talk about the last 3 of the 10 plagues. And I started speaking to you yesterday about Kosher, the plague of darkness. We'll talk tomorrow also about the killing of the firstborn. What does that mean metaphorically in our lives today? And what does it mean to go out of Egypt and to go out of slavery? Not just in the literal sense, of course. None of us wants to live in political servitude, but also in the metaphorical sense. Have a good night. God bless you all.